Hello everyone, welcome back to BCS 450. This is Module 2, Lab 4. We're going to talk about EC2 instances. In order to create an EC2 instance, we're just going to log into our AWS Management Console. And currently I'm logged in. I'm in North Virginia, the closest region I picked to myself. But you can actually create EC2 instances anywhere in the world you like, based on the regions and availability zones available to us. So you can actually create it in Frankfurt, London, Paris, wherever you want. Of course, the cost is a little different than in US regions. Let's click on, you can actually go to EC2 from here and go to EC2 virtual servers in the cloud functionality. Currently, as you see, I have no instances running, but I do have 2 instances that are being terminated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on launch instance. So I'm going to click on launch instance. We're going to pick a free tier available instance, which is the Amazon's Linux 2 AMI. You can also upload your own AMIs to Amazon Marketplace, as well as community AMIs are available. There's Windows, Red Hat, Linux, SUSE Linux, any type of Linux available to you. We're just going to pick the Amazon Linux AMI to do the demonstration. When you pick the Amazon 2 instance, it's going to ask us what type of instance do we want. Of course, for this demonstration purposes, we're going to use the free tier eligible, which is T2.micro, but types are starting from T, C class, D class, E class, F class, G class, I class, and continue on and on. With the 2T micro, we're just getting one virtual CPU with 2.5 gigahertz CPU power, as well as 1 gig memory. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on configure instance details. Basically, I can create, if I want 100 instances, but I'm just going to create one for now. And there's a spot instance request if I want to request a spot instance, which I'm not going to do. You should have a single VPC created on your console. I have more than one, but I'm just going to pick the default one right now. It's just going to automatically pick one of the subnets within that region. And we're just going to kind of pick auto assign public IP. We're just going to enable this because if we do not enable it, we are not going to be able to communicate to the server from outside. So I'm just going to enable to give a public IP, and I'm just going to scroll down. I'm not going to make any other changes at this moment, and just continue to scroll down. By default, it's going to create a single Ethernet network. If I want to add more than one Ethernet network, I can just assign one more or 10 more if I want to. Let's go to the storage. By default, we're going to basically assign an EBS storage to this. We're using a general purpose 2, which is SSD. You can easily pick GP3, IO1, IO2, or even magnetic, which is the standard disks, right? The cheapest ones that are available. I'm just going to go with the GP2. It's only going to assign an 8 gig disk. Not that it's critical to us. Next, we're going to be able to add tags. With tags, basically, if this particular EC2 instance is a specific department, maybe I want to say, hey, this is a department equals to HR, or value equals to web server, things like that I can add. Next, I'm going to basically create a policy to allow traffic. Basically, at this moment, we're going to just enable SSH TCP port 22. If I'm going to host a website or something like that, I might have to add a rule and say I want to create a HTTP, HTTPS, or if I want a RDP, if it's a Windows box, it automatically puts the port of 3389. Not that I'm going to do any of these, but I'm just showing you how to create one. You can select an existing security group or create a new security group, which I'm going to pick and review and launch. So basically, in the review page, we're just going to see what we have picked and then click on launch. This is the critical part. When you create an EC2 instance, you will have to create a key pair to be able to access your instances. Otherwise, you can't. So currently, you can create a new key pair and basically name your key pair, whatever you like, and then download your key pair. I already created one called Farmingdale. So I'm just going to basically acknowledge that. It's going to allow you to download that whatever key pair you picked, that PAM extension. In my case, I have a farmingdale.pam extension private key file. This file is very critical. Without this file, I will not be able to access my instance. Click on launch instances. And while this is happening on the background, let's click on view instances. It's going to basically go and make that instance, the last instance that I'm running pending. In the meantime, what we need to do is, in order for us to access this box, we need PuTTY as well as PuTTY GN just to be able to create a private key. So I'm going to show you how this is done. So you need two different tools from Windows. For Linux users and Mac users, you don't need any of these. This is only for Windows users. For Mac and Linux users, you can just do SSH directly from your console. But for Windows users, you need these two tools, PuTTY Gen as well as PuTTY. What you need to do is go to PuTTY Gen and run this tool. It's freely available. What we need to do is you need to load your key that you downloaded, which is in my case farmingdale.ppk. And of course, if I already have the key created, I'm just gonna use my passphrase if I don't have that. So you need to create a key passphrase. So this is very critical. Whatever you put here, you need to remember. If you can't remember, you're not going to be able to access it either. So you need to pick RSA 2048 and load your key that you downloaded from AWS, the PAM, and then save private key. When you say private key, it's going to create a new file called farmingdale.ppk or whatever you named it. The extension is ppk. So you should have, at the end of this, you should have two files. One is a PAM file that you downloaded. One is ppk file you created through the PuTTY Gen. Once that's happening, then you're ready to go. What we're going to do is go back to the console and refresh this. So it looks like my instance is ready. Let's click on it and see what's going on. So here's the public IP address of that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click connect and I'm going to pick SSH client. When I do that, it actually tells me how to connect to the box. So I'm going to actually use this phrase right here. Copy that. I'm going to open PuTTY. PuTTY is again accessing that. So I'm going to paste that EC2 user with the public IP address with a port 22, which we allowed into that session. Next, I'm going to go to my SSH authentication tab and I'm going to browse to my ppk file. And when I click on open, it's going to ask me, hey, we want to connect. You want to trust this? Sure. Now it's asking me for my key, which I'm going to type in. And voila, we are in the Amazon Linux box that we just created. So I can just basically, just type pretty much, unless if there's anything like I don't have anything, I'm in the users session here. So pretty much the box is ready. Now I can do whatever I want. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to go and kill this box, right? I'm just going to exit out from my PuTTY and go to my instances and basically terminate my instance. If I want to make changes or make any type of additions, subtractions to my instance, I can always go to actions menu and see things that I can do. I can basically see instance settings. I can, go manage IPs, attach a network device, change a network device. If I want to add new security groups, maybe modify rules. If I want to, monitor and troubleshoot, I can do things like that. So it will allow me to kind of go through these things, and I can click over here too on the instances, see what's been available for me. So as I said, port 22, what networking that I have, what's the storage behind it, 8 gig attached disk. And I can see my monitoring. Basically, this will give me information about, my CPU utilization, things like that. And this information is available to download as well. You can also see the last, 3 hours, last 12 hours, last, 1 week, whatever that may be. But since I'm done with the demonstration, I'm just going to go and basically terminate this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to instance and I'm going to say either stop, reboot, or terminate. I'm just going to click on terminate and terminate the box. Thanks for listening.